Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths, building a complete ship start to finish, and we're in the custom battle simulator, or scenario maker. I've forgotten what it's called. It's the custom battle thingy. Because one of the final steps, or not even one of the final steps, one of the steps of building a good craft in From the Depths is you gotta test it. You gotta put it through its paces, put it through hell, so to speak, so you can see what you've done wrong and see what could be made better. So we are going to bully our ship here and put it against some nasty opponents just to see how she does. And this is the setup here. You don't have to do this in the custom battle simulator, by the way. You can just do it in the designer. In fact, in a way, it's easier because you can spawn in enemy craft much more quickly using the X menu. But yeah, we're doing it here just for consistency, I guess. The settings I use for custom battle is like 500,000 materials per team. The opposing team spawns about 2,000 meters apart because I think of this as a medium range, and it's quite often the range that in the campaigns, this is about how far most craft will be when they initiate a fight with your forces. You can initiate it at greater distances, of course. I also put it somewhat in the middle of the map because the standard place for the fights is down here, and there's islands and stuff which can throw off your results. So I like to put us over here in the middle of the ocean. So here's the setup. The first test, we've got our complete ship, and we got the stronghold, because the stronghold is just a big lump of cram cannons and missiles, and in particular, big torpedoes. So if you want to see how well your craft does against something that is just essentially brute force, the stronghold is a decent test. I should also mention as well, it is best to test your craft against, if it's one-on-one, things that are its own cost or slightly more expensive. We're not doing that today, simply because I'm not sure this craft can take it. Our craft is about 50,000 materials more expensive than the stronghold, and the next fight, it's even more expensive than that. So, yeah, more expensive than its opposing number. So anyway, let's start. And we're going to keep an eye on our craft and see, in particular, like, what damage it takes, because personally, in this case, I think the defenses are a little lackluster. The lambs and all that stuff is a little bit cobbled together and improvised, and in particular, there's one flaw I'm already aware of that we're probably going to see right now. She does look pretty, although I forgot to decorate these propellers last time, which is a bit of an issue. So right here, and immediately, with broadsiders, by the way, I like to spawn them facing each other because that's a test of maneuverability. And here is our first problem, is that this thing bombs itself with its own torpedoes because they're in the back, and that's a huge issue. So immediately some kind of firing restrictions on the torps is really necessary. Thankfully, we are doing pretty good damage against the stronghold. We're taking out the odd cramshell. Those ones not so much, so that's a problem immediately, is that mass cram volleys are a problem. We just took a huge missile to the side there. But our torpedo decoys have successfully pulled these huge torpedoes, of course, so that's worked very nicely. This is kind of an even fight, and I don't like that. We could and should be doing a lot better. And the cram cannons are actually getting through, that's nice. And we can't really return the favor there. And what are we looking at? Looks like all the main weapons are hanging in there. And I believe that if we look up in the sky... So these are the huge missiles the Stronghold launches. And they've been successfully pulled into space by our missile decoys. And this is probably why the cram cannons are... Uh-oh, that's not good. Right, so that decoy on top of the superstructure there is actually doing real work, because it's pulling the missiles that are coming in from above and below. And we're not moving fast, so this is definitely something we need to improve with this design, is that it is slow. and that's bad. You don't want your designs to be slow. And another thing that these days... Oh, also sinking. We've lost a lot of alloy on the deck, so we're not floating very well. That's bad. And let's see here. We've also got a problem, and I think that plasma cannon got taken out by its own damn particle cannon next to it. We've got a problem here in that these... Oh, dearie me, that's a problem. Well, it did good work for a while. I'm actually recently not a fan of sticking your secondary weapons like bunched up in the middle of your craft. It's actually, I feel best not to do that, because the middle of your craft is what gets hit the most, or at the very least, it's most likely to get hit. So that's a problem, and I don't recommend that. Why are you not firing? Oh, your barrel's been snubbed, haven't you? Oh dear. Oh dear. I think it's mostly the missiles that are doing the work here. Let's see here. Stronghold is at 80%. Let's see the damage that's been done. I think that's mostly the missiles that have done the trick. Yeah, it's mostly the missiles. So this tends to be the case a lot with craft, is that it's pretty easy to make a missile cruiser in disguise simply because missiles are so damn reliable. Admittedly, they have more counters than pretty much any other weapon you care to name, apart from cram cannons, but yeah, we've made a missile cruiser in disguise and everything else is pretty much decoration. Although it is nice to see that... Okay, never mind. This is why signal processors are so good on your missiles and torpedoes, because they just make a huge difference. And one of the things to note here is that one of the very best defenses is to destroy your enemy's weapons quickly, so this is where things like Alpha Strike particle cannons and all that kind of stuff are very handy. Also, a little issue with this craft is not only is it slow, it doesn't maneuver very well, so people have asked like why I didn't do things like use azipods or stuff like that. I wanted to keep it simple and basic, and I think it is good to be aware of the basics before you try and do more advanced stuff, because then you have something to fall back on at the very least. But yeah, like the more advanced methods of shipbuilding, which, like, I don't know, I think this, like, you know, I've covered in other videos on the channel if you want to go find them. Azipods in particular are amazing. Spelled A-Z-I-P-O-D-S, azipods. Because this thing doesn't maneuver very well. She's just got this one rudder back here. Not great. And the biggest problem, of course, is that she's very not floaty. So let's see here. Interesting. That is very interesting that the missile interceptors are not firing more often. So we're winning, but we're not winning as much as we'd like. I don't care for that one bit. But looks like that we've ruined the buoyancy of the stronghold enough that she might sink, so that's nice. So yeah, I was going to save this for the end of the video, but I might as well ask it here. The final part of this series is the retrofitting stage, because, of course, once you've built a craft, once you test it to hell and back, you want to, of course, want to fix the things which are wrong with it, right? So, would you, the person watching, the people watching, prefer to see that as a edited down video, or a follow-up series, like a Let's Retrofit series? So let me know in the comments which one you'd like to see, and I will do whichever one people seem to like the idea of most. Another problem we have here is that this is a large missile volley, and yet a LAMS has taken it out. That's not what I like to see. But it looks like we've won this fight. The health is below 80% in sinking. And so this thing, despite being kind of a slow, squishy target, has managed to take out a craft which is actually pretty good against slow, squishy targets. So yes, our ship has won. She's not won as nicely as I would have thought. There were a few things. There's definitely things that we should have done better. I think, yeah, we just saw a huge missile take off a chunk of the bow again. So we're gonna declare that a successful test. We've learned things. Remember, your ship doesn't have to win in order for it to be successful. You gotta learn things. So, let's go here, and get rid of the stronghold, and we're gonna go to the next test, which is basically mostly a test of how good the armor is. Spoiler alert, the armor on our ship isn't very good because I was trying new things when I shouldn't have. So where is our friend, the Tier? Where is she? Where is she? Hello? There she is. So, the Tier. And, okay, let's be traditional. Alright, so the Tier used to be one of the most scary craft in the entire game. Less so these days, but she's still pretty damn scary, mostly because of the three triple barrel railguns she has, which do tremendous amounts of damage. And so this is going to be a good opportunity to see if we can beat her in a DPS race, or if our firepower can actually deal with it. What is interesting is that these ships are... Okay, so no, our ship is slightly bigger. So you see over there, the Tier is just under 1 million materials, and we are quite a bit over. So, if we lose this fight, that'll be very embarrassing for us. And it looks like we're already losing. The Tier has already got a health lead. And the Tier also is pretty missile-proof, so we'll have to see if our missiles do anything. In case you're wondering what the Tier is packing, it's railguns. It looks to be... Yes, so it is AP Frag and AP Heat, which is very strong. Very, very strong indeed. So, she's also more maneuverable than our craft, which is a problem. It means that, yeah, you can see there, our health is dropping really fast, which is not good at all. She is more vulnerable to crams these days, so hopefully our cram turret can actually do something. Or not. That's a lot of lag. That is a huge amount of lag. Yeah, see, we're already sinking. That's bad. Yeah, and our torpedoes are getting taken out. So this is a sign that we have not built efficiently, as that we are getting schmullied by a craft which is smaller and cheaper than us, which is bad. Those particle cannons were a huge mistake on the sides. I'm realizing they're there just kind of, you know, to demonstrate you can use them as secondaries, but at the same time, they're probably not best used in their exact position. It looks like our armor is actually holding out, which is quite nice, actually. Wasn't expecting that. And actually, let's see where the Tier's shells are landing. This is a very laggy fight, just because of how many missile interceptors are there. Alright, it's going there. Going for the clusters. Let's see, where did that go? Oh dear. Okay, so here we've got a problem. Oh yeah, the shells are into the central compartment already. That's bad. It shows that our armor is not good enough. It's not good enough to take on the Tier. That is some damaged missiles. Deacon's hell. This is a very laggy fight. I wasn't expecting this. I think it's just because of all the missile interceptors. This is actually a reason to maybe hold off on using, you know, just spamming small interceptors like crazy, because they are a lag fest. Very much. They are very laggy indeed. Yeah, I think it's mostly the Tier's fault. Look at this. Just look at how many small interceptors she has. How many is it? Oh, jeez, man. That's so many. Okay. And are we landing any damage on her? We are not. And this is kind of where also you can see that our craft is kind of more of a jack of all trades. The Tier is a gun platform, and that's what she's good at. She has big guns, and she murders you with those guns, and that's what she does. So we need to rethink our armor and our firepower, actually, because a lot of what we're chucking, because what seems to be the main damage dealers on our complete ship is missiles and torpedoes. The Tier's really resistant against missiles and torpedoes. Wait a minute, I just saw things fall off. She's also faster than us, which is not great. Although, let's see here, how are you doing? Not great. Not great at all. My goodness, this fight's very laggy. I think mostly, like, let's see here. You will notice that the tier has no defense against cram, really, except for... Well, except for speed and maneuverability, which doesn't always work. It's not quite fast enough to dodge them completely, but it looks like the crams are actually what's doing most of the damage here, which is interesting to note. Different weapons, different situations. Our ship is having a very, very bad day. Yeah, she's gonna sink. She is gonna straight up sink. Although it is nice... Okay, I was about to say all the main weapons are still working. They're not. The APS has been disabled. So yeah, against the tier, it looks like we've got a lot of work to do. A lot of thinking to do. Can I lock onto the damn stuff, please? Alright, so here we have our cram shells. We have taken out the superstructure of the tier. I'm not sure... I don't remember exactly what's up there. Also, thing to note is that we've got party mix crams, which are great when you're not sure what crams to go with. AP, HE, or AP frag would be much better for dealing with something like this. So yeah, we are learning a lot. In fact, I need to make a list. I'm gonna make a list on the back of this piece of paper. Complete ship retrofitting list, armor and buoyancy overhaul, redo internals, bigger lambs, better engines, steam, remove / change secondaries. Yeah, wow, our ship is getting bodied right now. Because yeah, those things on the rids, on things. What shells should we do? So like torp, firing restrictions, and what else? Overhaul APS turret, because it doesn't have enough firepower for my liking. Overhaul cram turret. Funnily enough, the energy weapons I'm just quite happy with, actually. What else? Bigger, better props, and azipods. Yeah, should have built that right the first time, but you know what? Quite often, that's not what happens. Okay, so I'm going to call it here, because it's very clear that our ship is not going to be able to finish off the tier. The tier is actually an example of quite a well-designed ship. It's got a job in mind. It doesn't waste materials where it doesn't need to. So we're going to go to the next one, which is going to be a mirror match. So this is quite helpful if, like, pretending for a moment that we clobbered both the stronghold and the tier, no problem. Is like, what do you test against then? Well, one particular thing that I'm very fond of these days, and I will shout out to Gmodism, who is the From the Depths content creator, who reminded me that this is a good idea. What you do is... Where did I put the thing? Oh, it's tutorial graph. What you do is you test things against itself. So, what you do is... Okay, whatever. What you do is you have the thing fight itself and see how it does, because that way you can see, no matter which craft you're looking at, the weaknesses of it. So we already know some of them already. We know that the thing is slow, it's not particularly maneuverable. We know that it's... Okay, so our missile defense is pretty decent, because you can see this huge amount of stuff. We already know that we bomb ourselves with our own torpedoes, which is not acceptable at all. In fact, that's a real problem, because those things have EMP on them, and they might very well just... Did I put torpedo interceptors on here? Yes, I did. Okay, so they are working quite nicely. I did not deco them, I just realized. Oh dear. Okay, so both of these, they're the same craft. They're pretty torpedo resistant, pretty missile resistant, but I think they rely a little bit too much on missile decoys rather than actually destroying incoming missiles. It's better to destroy them, I feel, because eventually you won't get fooled. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely alright. So that's something to keep in mind. This thing is damaging itself. Ideally, you want them to be damaged at the same rate, which this does seem to be happening. Alright. Missile defense. Less decoy. More active. More Sea-Whiz. More lambs. Yeah, the lambs on this is a little bit puny for a ship of its size and cost, so that is definitely something to note. Yeah, those missiles are now getting through. Just spamming signal processor missiles. Oh dear. I'm not sure if we're gonna get a clear winner here. Yeah, that's not enough. We don't have enough interceptors. That's a problem. That is a problem. And those interceptors clearly don't do enough damage. It looks like both craft are, yeah, the torpedoes in particular. Oh, look at that. How is the armor holding up? The armor would be holding up a lot better if it didn't have, oh, I don't know, holes in it, from having these ill-advised secondaries in here, I guess. Although, no, it's holding up reasonably well. It didn't hold up to the tier very long, but that's to be expected, because the tier has scary, scary guns. I forgot to deco those flares as well. Oh dear. They're ready, so... I do like how these torpedoes look. They look fun. Though I could shrink those propellers a little bit. They do look a little bit funny when they don't move. Let's follow this torpedo to its destiny, because destiny awaits, I guess. Yeah, this is very even, so I think they're managing to cripple each other. It looks like, yeah, this one has lost the decoy on the top of the mast. So yeah, just a reminder that what should we do next? Should we have a single video dedicated to retrofitting this thing, which will basically be me going over everything wrong with this, and then smash cut to me having fixed everything? Or should we have a series in which we get to follow along and fix what's wrong with this craft? Because, by the way, whenever you build a craft from the depths, it doesn't matter how experienced you are, there's almost certainly going to be things about it that you do not like. It's, I feel, quite rare to absolutely nail it on the first try, unless you really plan it out, and if it's really straightforward, and if it's something done just for fun, like you don't care how well it performs and stuff like that, then it's pretty understandable to, like, just, you know, nail it first try. But quite often the way I build things is like, yeah, nah, that's that's not how it goes. I just blunder along as best I can. Speaking of blundering along, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you'd like. It really helps, and there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. And do let me know whether there's one last video in this series or a successor series. Farewell!